So, if you folks can hear, well, I'll try to speak loud enough to just say there was no action taken as a result of the executive session, Madam Secretary, and make the announcement that we are still in negotiations with NextEra.
That's correct.
That's quick. That's a quick meeting.
No term sheet to present today, and we're not sure when there will be. Still in negotiations.
These setbacks and tax things.
Still in negotiations. We're not going to dive into the specific issues.
So,
You have a site plan yet? Has that been provided by NextEra yet?
not to my knowledge.
A site plan.
No.
Not
Where the actual turbines are supposed to be located.
The Hutch paper this morning, NextEra applied last week for a conditional use permit for Beaver County. And they have a site plan with the application.
okay. I don't think we've seen a specific set in stone.
I'll share it with you guys. You guys can go to the back page.
Okay?
I'm curious why that's appropriate in that situation, but not this one.
And you say, why do you think we haven't come to an agreement? Maybe we're waiting on some things. So don't put words in our mouths. Or slam. You kind of slammed us a little bit right there, and I'm getting a little bit irritated with that.
That wasn't a slam at you. That was, I don't understand why they aren't providing that. And I appreciate what you're doing, Tim, and I know
Okay.
you guys are.
Something we can discuss with Mr. Neal, I guess, put it that way.
I want to ask a question about last week when I watched it on the YouTube or wherever it's at, and I had to run it twice about the noise level. Something was said about not any worse than your appliances in your house. What was that about? Do you remember that?
Yeah, but Roger Becker had that.
And then Neil kind of reiterated, yeah, it's not any worse than your appliances in your house. And all week I've listened to my appliances, I can't hear anything. My coffee pot goes perk, 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 beep, 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 it's done. My refrigerator, I think I can hear it, but only when I'm in the kitchen if I really look. Listen, is that right? Can somebody confirm that?
All I can say is that was probably somebody with a noise meter or whatever they have that made this determination. That's all.
Well, who would
we
make
know.
that determination?
I do not
The
know.
proponents, just like you are opposing it, the ones
I'm
that
not
are for
opposing
it
it,
say,
I
well,
just couldn't.
well, they
I
have
tried
a
to
meter
hear it.
and when your air conditioner kicks on, the noise is very similar.
But my
Yes.
air conditioner goes off, it doesn't
But
run
I know
all
it
the
is
time.
not 24
Yeah,
hours,
I
24/7.
there's constant noise and then there's temporary noise, and I thought that was a
Sure.
statement that was really hyperbole.
Well, there's a lot of them going both ways,
Uh-huh.
and that's what has got to be weighed out, and that's why we're in negotiations to try.
And then the other one I had a question about is about the issues, when you have issues and you go to the commissioners and all that little thing, and then Neil said, well, then you just have to sue them. Really? Somebody's got to come in before that. Because you can't sue these companies. There's no way a person around here can address that. Somebody's got to have these rules up front. We can't just be left hanging. They're the ones that tell the signees that if they talk, they'll get sued, and that'll scare the death out of you. But there's no repercussion here. You guys aren't gonna be, after you get done with this, you're gonna be saying, this is it, I'm not gonna do this again.
you know, we're still here to protect your rights.
Yes.
Well, sure, but
You know,
you're gonna get tired of this
And
at
we're
one
gonna do the
time.
best we can do, that's
Sure
all.
you do, and you are, that's
You know,
not
that's,
the point, but you're not gonna be around in the next 20 years doing this.
Yeah.
And the next guy that comes on, and, you know, we gotta have some rules.
As
Real good
same
rules.
way as
Anything.
the people that are signing their land up for this. You know, they're not gonna be around when
Sure.
this takes over, but
That's right.
that's not keeping people from doing it because they see possibilities and
I
I
know,
don't blame them.
I know. This left you with a hold in the bag with the rules. But I'm still listening for noise at home, I can't hear it.
Gary, I might have missed it, but did you guys, when do you expect to get a term sheet now?
We said a week ago, we'd like to have it this morning, but bottom line is we do not. And we are still negotiating with NextEra on setbacks, dollars, so.
Well, that's a good sign. Still negotiating.
We're hopeful.
Keep
Yes.
Negotiating.
Yes.
We was really hopeful, because we had a couple of meetings last week and
That's all right. Hang in
there's
there.
just a couple of issues that we're not, in agreement yet.
Okay.
I had it.
Excuse me, Gary, there's like 15, 20 people out here that, can they all fit in?
Well, if there's nothing to say, we might as
The
well-
question will be how long we're gonna field questions, and
There's one.
there's really not too much we can say, though what hasn't already been said to this point. So,
I had a question. When I watched the meeting from last week, I think, you guys talked about, or Mr. Hill talked about measuring, someone was gonna measure the sound that the wind turbines were putting off, and it wouldn't be able to be allowed above a certain level and stuff. Does that include you're gonna go around, to people's homes and measure the infrasound that the wind turbines are putting off? Because that's far more detrimental to people's health than the physical noise that you hear, is the noise that you don't hear. And you can't measure that if it's gotta be measured inside people's homes to have an accurate measurement. Because it's far worse inside homes than it is outside of homes as well. And you don't measure it on the same level, you don't measure it dBA like noise. It's measured on a different scale.
those types of issues, I think, will be addressed once we do in fact come to agree on a term sheet, and we have open public meetings with NextEra. Those issues will be discussed and hopefully addressed by them. So, excuse me, anything else, Tim or Dennis? I think, I apologize, there's just not much else we can talk about. Yes, sir?
Yes.
One more question or comment,
Comment.
okay?
I think it's up to you commissioners to do what's best for the entire county. And I think if you look around, if you look here at, you were familiar with Seneca, you look at what businesses have closed up in the last year or two, you know, we've gotta do something, we've gotta bring some money in. But what I see here mainly is we're at a place that's kind of a not in my backyard syndrome. They're fine with it if it's nuclear energy, bringing you in electricity, or a coal-fired power plant bringing in electricity, as long as it's not here. And I'm sure if there was a nuclear power plant going to be located in Nemaha County, you would find far more opposition to that than what you do to the windmills. In the same way, I'm sure some of you remember the opposition that was to Jeffrey Energy Center at that time. And I think it would be the same thing in Nemaha County, a lot more opposition what we have here to the windmills. So I think it's up to you to make that decision. And, you know, it's like this. I think that the people are really so opposed to this type of energy. What type of energy do they really prefer? in Nemaha County. Now, they prefer it to be in some other county where they don't have to put up with it. But you know, if they're really that much against this energy, what do they want? And if they're opposed to all the energy, why don't they go home and disconnect their electricity so they're not polluting the air that way and live like the Amish do? But you know, the Amish don't use automobiles, and that extremist, radical representative from New York wants to do away with cars. She wants to do away with cows because of what they're doing to the environment. And where do we stop with this? I think it's up to you to make that decision here locally as to what's best for all of Nemaha County.
Duly noted. And we are in our negotiations. Our job here on this side of the desk is to hopefully do what's best for everyone in Nemaha County. That's what we are striving for. What that's gonna look like, we just still don't know for sure. And hopefully we will in a week. I guess I'll preface that by saying it may not be in a week. But we're hopeful that it will be. So, I think Tim and Dennis, wind turbine discussion is over for today. I guess we'll probably, same scenario a week from today, which is March. Probably we'll talk to our attorney at 9 again. Now whether he'll be here or not, we don't know. He'll either be here in person or we'll talk to him via phone. Same scenario as what's been.
March 4th, yeah.
So, thank you folks for coming. You're sure more than welcome to stick around as long as you so desire.